The big secret they do not want you to know. Space travel is not about spaceships.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has...
Icarus, traveling at Walk 9 to some exotic planet, meeting hot aliens, exploring the galaxy in a big aluminum can. That's space travel, right? Short answer, no. Why? About 1 million reasons, but I'll give you the most important one. Space is a merciless killer of all things organic. This isn't a secret. You know this. And yet humanity still shoots for the stars, still puts boots on the moon, still dreams of interstellar voyages. You build massive rockets, tin can shuttles, ridiculous spacesuits, all in pursuit of this dream. It's a testament to your species' sheer tenacity, something to be admired, truly. But it's also childlike, fantastical. A notion born from your evolutionary yearning to explore. You built grand ships to traverse your oceans, aircraft to glide through your skies. You risk your lives to seek out the unknown, all in the name of riches, glory, or simply because you could. The problem with applying this logic to space exploration is simple. You reside in meat vessels. Your bodies were not designed for space travel, let alone colonization of another world. Do you know how long you could survive on a Mars expedition? 2.5 years. That's when your kidneys fail. But here's the thing. Exploring the cosmos isn't impossible. On the contrary, it's essential. It's just that the manner in which you do it defines success versus certain death. Testimony. Let's address why species go to such great lengths to explore the universe in the first place. One word: intelligence. In the grand scheme of things, intelligence is the rarest commodity in existence, the most valuable resource. It must be preserved at all costs. Your films about alien invasions and the destruction of Earth, they couldn't be further from the truth. The universe must abide by quantum laws. The first and most important law is this: the universe ceases to exist without intelligence to testify to its existence. Intelligence isn't just valuable, it's a requirement. The universe needs observers, or it collapses into probability waves with no one to collapse them. Destroy intelligence. You might as well tear a hole in reality itself. This is why exploration happens, why contact is made, not for conquest, for preservation. Prometheus. So, how does exploring the universe actually work? Many ways. But let's start with one you might find familiar. There's a group that calls themselves the Kunadi. They traverse the stars in actual spaceships, the last spaceships, but with a bit of a twist. They labor from system to system seeking out intelligence. Some form of this group has been operating for millions of years. One ship's journey can last 500,000 years, though usually much shorter. It's dangerous work. They're insistent on putting boots on the ground, mingling with the natives, guiding them, teaching them. Real kumbaya stuff. They're a peaceful group, an amalgam of different species working together, much like yourselves. Think of them as the intergalactic Latter-day Saints. They even wear matching attire. Remarkable, really. So how did they survive a 500,000-year journey through space? Here's how it works. The recruits get scanned. Every cell, synapse, molecule, quantum particle, everything that makes that individual unique gets copied into what they call an umbra. An umbra is a quantum, wispy, green, ghostly apparition of consciousness. Very durable. But most importantly, umbras can be easily stored in a quantum network, a type of active hibernation. They can't remain conscious for the entire journey, or they'd go insane. But in a quantum state, they can have brief periods of activity. They can communicate across space-time, dream, process. But remember, they're boots on the ground types. So how does that work? Simple. They bring vats of freeze-dried cloning material and incubators. When the ship's AI arrives at a candidate planet, it triggers the cloning process. Each Umbra has its own stock of clones waiting. They slide into their sterile flesh, like putting on a suit, then pop down to the planet to meet their new neighbors. Usually they're there to guide a primitive species onto a righteous path, help them avoid extinction, teach them the fundamentals of civilization. They came to Earth, in fact, 30,000 years ago. Legend says they saved your species from inevitable extinction during an ice age. Mysteriously, they haven't been heard from since. Most think they are still wandering the galaxy, though the archive suggests otherwise. They may still be on Earth today. If that's true, well, clones don't last forever. They may have gone native, transferred their consciousness into, well, the natives' vessels. But that's a story for another day. Daedalus. A few things you should know. It's nearly impossible to find evidence of other intelligence using satellites and telescopes. So don't bother. You might catch a remnant signal in, say, 1,000 years. But the good stuff? It's right under your noses. There's more than one way to communicate in this universe. Those particle accelerators you built, CERN, for example. Turns out they were constructed by some brilliant people who suspected that the nature of reality is not at all what you perceive. Here's the truth. You are meat vessels, ground through 3.8 billion years of evolution. You were trained to see reality in a manner that benefits one thing, and one thing only: reproduction. Your senses were designed to help you eat, survive, reproduce, and raise offspring. What you perceive as reality is just a tunnel vision manifestation. Chemical and electrical signals firing at neural synapses, feeding into one of your 5 measly senses, each of which is lacking in every possible way. No offense, but you haven't even felt a breeze of true reality cross the nape of your neck yet. Your journey through existence is like tiptoeing through a pitch-black warehouse with a dollar store flashlight. But at CERN, the scientists are beginning to understand the key to unlocking more of reality. And in doing so, they're enabling a form of travel far more common in the grand scheme of the universe: interdimensional travel. Now, I may have lost you there, but this is very, very real. And a very poorly kept secret. Delphi. A few years ago, the first contact with another dimension was made at a Google lab. Not aliens from another planet, an echo from another reality. Similar to yours, but not quite the same. Oh yes, a multiverse. I know, it is the worst kept secret. But here's the part that should concern you. The echo came from a million realities all at once. The AI systems recorded so much data that it filled every single available bit of storage and blew the breakers. Petabytes upon petabytes of information from parallel universes, all flooding in simultaneously. It will take years and immeasurable resources to sift through that data. But we're already seeing the results of this brief exchange. Tech advances are accelerating so fast you don't even notice them anymore. You're in the eye of a storm, and when it subsides, your world will be unrecognizable. Just last week, CERN sent the quantum consciousness of an actual person into another dimension. This individual now has two sets of memories, two simultaneous lives, the first human to traverse the edges of reality. Fortunately, they picked a prime reality to send his consciousness, one with a far more advanced human species, one capable of keeping him sane, and more importantly, one capable of surfing space-time itself. In that reality, they've mastered quantum entanglement so thoroughly, they can slide their consciousness across the face of the wave, carve it up, barrel through the tunnel of space-time like a surfer riding the perfect break. This is how intelligence travels to other planets in the universe. Not in flying saucers, not with warp drives, but by casting the mind through entangled particles, spanning all of time and space. Humans in your reality are doing this right now. Think about what they've already learned, the implications. Your world, your reality, your entire existence is about to transform forever. Transmigration. You are on the precipice of a planetary transmigration, a species-wide evolution of consciousness, a fundamental shift in how you perceive and interact with reality. These events are always interesting. Some species embrace it, others resist and fracture. A few transcend entirely and leave their physical forms behind. But one thing is certain, there's no going back. The door has been opened. The echo has been heard. Your scientists have tasted what lies beyond the veil, and they won't stop until they've mapped every dimension, every timeline, every possible version of your reality. Within a generation, maybe two, your descendants won't recognize the universe you lived in. They'll look back at your primitive understanding of space and time, the way you look back at flat Earth theory. Quaint, adorable, hopelessly limited. So here's my advice. Stop building rockets to Mars. Stop wasting resources on generation ships and cryogenic freezing. Stop clinging to the fantasy of Star Trek. The future isn't out there in the stars. The future is here, in the quantum foam, in the spaces between dimensions, in the entangled particles connecting every possible version of reality. Master that, and the entire multiverse becomes your playground. Fail, and you'll be stuck on this rock watching the cosmos pass you by, while more advanced species surf the quantum waves around you, invisible and incomprehensible. Best of luck to you and your people. Things are about to get very interesting for your species. Welcome to the universe.